Which of the following is not part of product backlog refinement activity? Option A, prioritization of the backlog items. Option B, estimation of the backlog items. Option C, splitting of large backlog items. Option D, identification of implementation tasks. It's a not one. You need to choose the one which is not included in backlog refinement activity. You can pause, pick your choice. Okay, so I think this one is a little straightforward, relatively simple question, because you just need to pick up what is not included in a product backlog refinement. A product backlog refinement can be done with the help of meeting. You can organize some stakeholders participating and looking at the requirement, and the team also participating and putting a number for the estimation purpose, and finally doing the prioritization. It can be done other way, like you might, that a one person may collect these inputs individually, separately, and finally aggregate them and creates the refinement and prioritization of the product backlog. In general, doing this activity using a scheduled meeting is usually preferred, though many frameworks are not explicitly recommending that meeting, but usually preferred. Yeah, that's the background story of a backlog refinement. So what do you do? So you have a product backlog, which has various items. You can call the big item epic or a small item story. You can say it has a various product backlog items. So when you are reviewing it frequently, every week, you should not be doing it in the beginning of the project and hoping that this will remain good. And you should not be doing 3 months in advance. Even if you do 3 months in advance, still you need to relook at it just before we get started in the next iteration. So even if you do some forecasting, but every week or very frequently, you are expected to review it. So you recommend as a project manager, continuous reviewing of a backlog. And for simplicity, we can say, okay, every week we need to check our backlog, product backlog, and see what are those priorities, and if we need to do some adjustment into it. So that's a fair assumption one can make when you are dealing with a PMP exam. So yes, you prioritization of the backlog item included, estimation of a backlog items included, estimation using the story point or a high level estimates, which helps you in identifying the size of the item without identifying who is going to do it. So as of now, when you are doing backlog refinement meeting, you are not clear who and when is going to work on this particular item. So you need to do an estimation, which is at a size level. You do at a option B, splitting of a large backlog items into small, especially the one which are becoming a priority thing. You want to make sure that upcoming iteration, we have a small items, whatever is priority item should be small enough so that we can schedule and get started. So that's included. Identification of implementation tasks. So this is something relates to how do I get it done? And as I said before, we don't talk about when and who is going to work on it. So identification of an implementation task is not necessarily a backlog refinement activity. It should be done while you are doing iteration planning. So we can fairly say that option D is the right option because it is something which is not included. So because it's a not question, so the right seems to be wrong option, but yeah, that's the option which we are taking for this particular question.